You're speeding toward the coast of Spain in 1493, where an Atlantic Ocean traveler is lost at sea. The folks who financed his trip are mucho worried, so you'd better try to find out what's causing the delay. Charting unknown waters is Rock-Solid's specialty, so he'll come along as your good guide. Good luck, Detective. I sure hope you don't get seasick.
We've hit Spain in the year 1493. That must be Queen Isabella right over there. You know, Isabella earned a place in history by supporting the explorations of Christopher Columbus. But at the moment, the Senior Senora looks royally upset.
Disaster! Columbus has not returned from his voyage to China. I can only guess that he has been lost at sea. My advisors warned me that his plan would sink.
Hey, it sounds like one of Carmen's crooks has put a crimp in Columbus's plans. Let's talk with the Queen and see what we can do. I'd say we're in the Spanish town of Santa Fe. This is where Columbus sought money from Isabella to pay for his voyage.
Greetings. You are welcome in the royal court of Spain, although you've come at an unhappy time. I am Isabella, Queen of Spain and ruler of Castile and Aragon. My husband Ferdinand and I made this a great nation. By uniting many warring groups in the country, we created the powerful United Kingdom of Spain. Christopher Columbus sailed away 8 months ago to find a westward route to China, but he has not returned. I fear his decision to sail west was not the best. If Columbus is safe and sound, he must be found. He sailed west, so you must too, to find him. You may take this ocean map for the westward journey. Most sailors reach China by sailing around Africa and heading east. Columbus insisted that since the world is round, he could reach China faster by sailing west instead. I'm searching for the fastest trade route to China. Marco Polo indeed. His route runs across land and takes far too long. A sea route to China will be faster, and ships can carry more goods than camels. The Portuguese already have an eastward sea route, so I hope to find a faster way to the west. Avoid the winds to the north. We call them the westerlies because they blow from the west and push sailing ships eastward back to Europe. Try heading south, where you may find more favorable winds.
The first world maps were drawn by an ancient Greek named Ptolemy. Although his maps were completely wrong, people believed in his work up until the 15th century. Say, this map seems related to the voyages of Diego Gomez, the Portuguese captain who coasted down the coast of Africa. Diego's voyage gave Portugal an exploration edge over Spain, for a while anyway. The first European to sail around the southern tip of Africa was Bartholomew Diaz. His discovery opened up the eastern sea lanes to China and forced Columbus to postpone his plans.
Those drapes are made of silk brought all the way from China. China is the only place to get fine silk, and I just had to have it.
Ask away, matey. She wants us to set sail in search of Columbus. Let's head to the port.
Good luck crossing the vast ocean. May the wind and current be always at your back.
We're almost ready to cast off. But first, let's learn to navigate. Use the mast to adjust the sail. When the sail is open, we'll blow with the wind. But when the sail is closed, we'll drift with the current instead. When you're ready, ring the ship's bell to start moving. The ship's compass always spins to point north. It might help us make good headway. These barrels are full of dried meat and peas, the same food Columbus used. The current is flowing west. The wind is whisking by to the west. You've found a message in a bottle, and it looks like part of Carmen's note. Keep this up and we'll have Carmen bottled up tight soon enough. Aye, aye, Captain. The sail is open, so westward blowing will now be going. Hold on to your hat. Whoa, quite a set of fangs on that fish. Maybe we'll save that swim for later. Nice exposure. That's a great view to the south. Shark-infested waters were a constant menace to ocean-going ships in the 15th century. During shipwrecks, the smell of blood in the water could call in hundreds of hungry sharks. Yikes! Nice exposure. That's a great view to the south. At your behest, we're now pointing west. All right, we've reached the West Indies. Let's hit the beach and look for Columbus. Hey, I think we've made a discovery of our own. We've found Captain Christopher Columbus.
Gentlemen, I assure you I have everything under control. After all, I'm Christopher Columbus. I'll find a way home.
This scene feels sort of familiar, eh, fellow Norseman? But a bunch of sailors arguing on a beach doesn't mean a thing.
Oh, my charts, my charts. I'm getting island fever without them. How I long to see again the noble plains of Spain. The ocean charts I created on my westward voyage were stolen, and now my men are making waves. They refuse to sail back across the sea without a good map for navigation. A grubby-looking thief wormed his way on board, posing as one of my crew, and hooked my charts. Then he sailed off with one of my ships, the Pinta. My sailors are a suspicious lot. They won't set sail until they see the charts that prove I know the way home. Why, I am Christopher Columbus. I'm the brave explorer who just discovered the fabulous and westward route to this place, China. Of course this is China. I sailed directly west from Spain to get here. And everyone knows that there's no other land between Spain and China. I'd prove it to you, except someone stole my charts from that sea chest. What's this? Whoever stole my charts left behind a strange scrap of paper. Hardly a fair trade.
Say, that's a piece of the Carmen note. The thief must have dropped it in the chest when he stole Columbus's charts. It looks like Columbus left his sea chest open. No wonder Carmen's crony had such luck here. This island lies near present-day Cuba. Columbus named it San Salvador, but the natives call it Guanahani.
I'm absolutely certain this is one of the islands at the outskirts of China or Japan. Where else could we be? A fine ship, isn't she? That's the Nina, my favorite ship.
These ships were armed with two types of cannon, large bombardas and smaller espingardes, which fired granite balls and lead shot. Ouch! What Europeans called the New World was old news to these natives, who had a thriving culture here when Columbus arrived.
Please, don't rile up my anxious crew. You'd think they'd love being trapped in a paradise. But instead, they just want to get home to Spain.
Looking for coconut palm trees? Don't bother. Coconut palms were actually imported by Europeans. Right now, the only palms around here are the ones on your hands.
We meet again. Forgive me if I seem upset, but my stolen charts are still missing. Interesting theory. I could check your ID against my charts if they hadn't been stolen.
Ahoy there! We need to get him sailing back to meet Isabella, but with an empty map chest, he's not going anywhere. All right, the map is safely inside. Phew, that's a load off my chest.
We meet again. Forgive me if I seem upset, but my stolen charts are still missing. What's this? There's a chart in my chest. It's not the original, but it has all of the information to make an eastward sea journey. All right, men, I forgot to mention that a great explorer always carries a second map.
That was a brilliant way to get Columbus to examine our chart. Now he can head back for Spain and we can join him. I suspect our thief plans to meet Carmen at a time portal in Europe, and we'll be there. Don't worry, we're stocked with plantains from the islands of the West Indies. I find them quite appealing.
Ah, the wind, the water, the salty spray. There's nothing I like better than a sea voyage, except maybe fame and glory. It seems you're currently applying many of the methods I did, like using the wind and current to move forward, and a compass or the sun to establish direction. Earlier explorers tried to sail west from Spain, but were blown back by strong winds called the westerlies. But I sailed south along the coast of Africa first, then turned west. I found the winds that come out of the east called the easterlies, and the rest is, or will be, history. Oh yes, many. I barely avoided the Sargasso Sea, a huge floating mass of seaweed. Plus, I had to tangle with a mutinous crew. The largest ship, the Santa Maria, is my flagship. My two smaller ships, called caravels, are the Nina and the Pinta. You have no idea. It took me 17 years to convince someone to fund my expedition. I had almost given up hope until Queen Isabella opened her royal purse.
I don't mean to sound like a windbag, but when the sail is open like this, it catches the breeze, pulling the ship in that direction. Ship is now nosing due north. Nice navigating. Now we're aiming east. Westerlies! These winds coming from the west are blowing us straight east towards Europe. After that move, we're now easing eastward. Ah, we're back in Europe at last. Let's hurry back to Spain and hook that crook.
We thought the sea had swallowed you up.
The sea is no match for Christopher Columbus. I made many great discoveries on my voyage, and I could not have returned without the aid of these helpful travelers. But now, Your Majesty, let's turn to that new title and those grand rewards we discussed.
I have a better idea. Let's outfit some more ships and send you back.
Mamma mia!
Ahoy there! Only one more piece of Carmen's note still to go. Let's track it down. Great grab! That completes the Carmen note. Hang on, I'll fire up the time cuffs for some arresting action. Yes, Detective? The time cuffs are activated for the bust. Eureka! That's a map of the New World. The only map which shows the American continents. It's the one from Carmen's note. Huh! We've put the lid back on Dr. Belljar. And this time our case is airtight.
Well, you've taken the wind out of this doctor's sail. But I doubt if you'll put Carmen in jail.
Congratulations! You charted the way across the Atlantic, rescued Christopher Columbus, and put Dr. Belljar back in the can. Now, regular travel between Europe and the Americas can start. The biggest population shift in the history of the planet will happen thanks to your sailing skills. You're doing great work, and we need you to keep it up. Another crime has struck another time. Can you take the case?